young men left their homes and government-issued clothing. 6 million men, women volunteered for service, 10 million were drafted, 200,000 women are serving. For some, the transition from civilian life to military life was quick. They are now attending officer training schools. Life was a high stress or boredom while training or in between attacks. Men are living in military posts which are converting into schools or ships. Combat training and the experience our soldiers are getting hardened them. Some assumed that the soldiers would remain unaffected. They were wrong. You cannot fight and be unaffected by war. The obsession our soldiers share is returning home. For a soldier, according to New York Times, is where the thermometer goes below 110 at night. We recently heard that the soldiers have a new form of milk. It's censored by the Army so as not to release blueprints or operations. BMO is designed to reduce the precious space that letters took up on our supply ships crossing the Atlantic.
When the war started, a lot of men enlisted in the military not knowing what to expect, but all with the same goal to stop the Germans and the Japanese. For many of these servicemen, life was extremely stressful. These men endured hard battles and watched some of their own friends killed in action. Experiences like this really shaped our boys into the veterans they are now. Contrary to what most folks at home think, our troops have been deeply impacted mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's said that most men have absolutely no desire to return to the military once the war is over. To relieve some stress, soldiers often rode back and forth between friends and family using V-mail, a lightweight form of mail for servicemen to keep in touch with their loved ones. Most of these men were stationed in foreign places and were made uncomfortable by many of the customs and strange people of the land. If there's one goal that all our boys shared, it was to return home.
I'm joined here with Earl, currently serving the Pacific. I have some questions to ask you, Earl. Were you drafted or did you choose to enlist in the armed forces?
I originally was gonna enlist, but eventually the government drafted me. Either way, I am a very patriotic American, so I was happy and content.
Nice, okay. How did you communicate with your loved ones back home and how often?
I sent them letters.
Nice. How did the war personally impact you and your fellow soldiers?
Many soldiers received shell shock, depression, boredom, signs of withdrawal from the war. Very, very depressing.
Do you enjoy being in a foreign country and adapting to their customs?
No, I do not.
Not at all.
Cutting weird customs, nasty food. No, I wish I was back in America. Yes.
What is life like in the military for you and your men? Do you guys like it?
No, it's very boring. The enemy, they just hide and wait to attack you very, very often.
What do people who you and your men have saved think about you?
They are happy. Many of them like us, but I'm not sure how Japanese feel back home since we took the concentration camps.
Do you feel like the United States involvement in Europe was worth it?
Yes, I feel it was worth it. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Earl.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you pick me up and smoke me sometime?
Everybody likes a rapper, really they do. It's luxury light and it's pleasant for you. She's today's Muriel, mellow and right.
You're gonna like me, friend, I'm just your type.
Everywhere we go they seem to like her shape. Firm and trim and handsome, so easy to take.
I'm today's new Muriel.
Only a dime.
Why don't you pick me up and smoke me sometime?
I am now joined by Nigel Dickens, stepbrother of Earl, who we have previously spoken to. I have some questions for you too. Have you received any letters from your stepbrother on how the war is?
Yes, I've received numerous amount of letters of the war, and so far it seems we're doing a pretty okay job.
Have you been personally impacted by the war?
Yes, I've I haven't seen my brother in a while, and usually I would see him every day, but ever since the war started, it's been pretty tragic. I haven't seen him every day.
If you had an opportunity to volunteer in the war, would you?
Absolutely, I would love to help the U.S. troops fight the war against the Axis powers.
Do you hope that the war would end soon?
Yes, because there's a lot of lives being lost, especially troops.
Do you do you believe the U.S. will succeed in the battle against the Axis powers?
Yes, because we have a very powerful military and we're allied with one of the greatest countries, which is Great Britain. And I believe we have a very good chance in winning the battle.
Thank you very much for your time.
At the start of the war,
So far, it seems we're doing a pretty okay job.